Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors, distinguished associate members joining us in person and online, distinguished invited guests, distinguished Under-Secretary Generals of the Organization of Southern Cooperation, OSC, OSC staff members, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. My name is Ahmed Abdul Basit, Chief of Section of Software Research and Development under the Department of Technological Innovation and Digitalization Enhancement of the OSC. It is my humble pleasure to be the Master of Ceremony for today's program, which is the launch of the Greater South Learning Enrichment Resources Nexus, in short, GreSLERN. GreSLERN is an open source, free of charge, and customizable digital learning platform available to member states and curriculum development centers in member states. And that is why we are here to launch the platform. I would like to extend my warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking time from your busy schedules to join us today. We look forward to a fruitful and engaging program launch today. To commence, I would like to outline today's program. We will start in the program with His Excellency, Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, Secretary General of the OSC, to give us a welcome and opening remarks. Next on the agenda, we would have His Excellency, Dr. Belete Mola Getahun, Minister of Innovation and Technology of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Next on the program, we would have Dr. Shubhangi Sharma, Under-Secretary General for Systemic and Endogenous Educational Development. She'll be presenting on BIE, which simply means Balanced and Inclusive Education, Learning Resource Integration with GreSLERN. Next on the program, we would have Dr. Shumete Gizal, Under-Secretary General for Technological Innovation and Digitalization Enhancement. He will be presenting on the concept, technology, and development of GreSLERN platform. Next, we would have the lead developer in the person of Mrs. Sawasiu Hailu, who would then present and showcase the platform. Once again, we'll be honored to have His Excellency Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, Secretary General of OSC, to officially launch and unveil the GreSLERN platform. And finally, we would have group photos, press engagement, as well as interactive demo, refreshments, and network outside the compound. Now, please join me to invite His Excellency Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, Secretary General of the Organization of Southern Cooperation, to deliver the opening remarks. Please put your hands together once again as we welcome His Excellency on the stage.
Your Excellency, Dr. Belete Mola Getahun, Minister of Innovation and Technology of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, and dear brother, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished associate members, indeed both present in person and online, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. On the 29th of January of this year, we had met in this hall in order to launch, in commemoration of the International Day of Balanced and Inclusive Education, to launch the OSC Institute as a center of training and capacity building for our member states. And at the time, I had the distinct pleasure and honor of announcing that the year 2024 would be an entirely different year for the Organization of Southern Cooperation. And of course, as we meet today, I am pleased that from the OSC Secretariat, we have kept true to our word by marking today the third core project launch since the 29th of January. Because 2024, ladies and gentlemen, not only for the Organization of Southern Cooperation, but for our member states and beyond, must be a year in which we collectively and tangibly give form to our collective aspirations. The year in which we contribute decisively to the edification of a third way of development from and by the South for humanity. And yet, as testified by the extraordinary achievement of the African Union a few days ago by having the Assembly of Heads of State and Government declare 2024 as the year of education, we know all too well that there is no development, there is no future possible without education. And yet also from the South, we are particularly aware that when we speak of education, we cannot do so for its own sake. Because education for the sake of education is nothing more but a futile, intellectual, and abstract exercise. Education only takes meaning, only becomes meaningful, useful, when it serves a vision of the future. A vision of where do we want to be as countries, as societies, and as individuals 20 years from now. And that requires us, fundamentally, to look at the reality of our world, the context in which we find ourselves, identify the profound inequities, injustices that must be overcome in order not to replicate such injustices, inequities within our education systems. And although, ladies and gentlemen, it would seem to most of us that COVID-19 was a lifetime ago, the truth remains is that we have only just emerged from it. And we have a duty as organizations, as countries, as educators, to learn the lessons of that pandemic. And one such lesson, ladies and gentlemen, at the height of the pandemic, when 1.5 billion students found themselves outside of school, was how profoundly the techno-digital divide between North and South, between our urban spaces and rural areas, how profoundly that techno-digital divide exacerbated the learning crisis. And from the Organization of Southern Cooperation, having as part of its mandate both the accompanying of member states in transforming education systems towards balance and inclusivity, and accompanying member states in bridging the techno-digital divide. When our General Assembly met in its December 2021 session, we knew that we needed to propose a concrete project that would, in part, address these concerns, address those inequities that emerged during COVID. And it is in this context that, over the past year, our Department of Technological Innovation and Digitalization Enhancement, what we call internally our TIDE department, and our Department of Systemic and Endogenous Educational Development, what we call internally our SEED department, worked together proactively, without rest, in order to bring us to this day where we will be in a position to launch the Greater South Learning Resources Nexus, or GreSLERN. And to do so, ladies and gentlemen, in recognition that one of the major challenges facing our educational systems in our countries of the South is that in an age where the production of digital and e-learning resources is crucial to our education systems, ministries of education still find themselves in an impossible dilemma. And that impossible dilemma is to choose between closed source, proprietary software that enables them to produce pedagogical content digitally, but that happen to be software that are costly, once again proprietary, therefore, that cannot be tailored, customized, built upon, or integrated, that generate vendor dependence for these ministries of education and drains their budget. Or, alternatively, to adopt open source resource, open source software that, whilst free of charge, is simply put, not good enough. And with the development of the Greater South Learning Resources, Learning Enrichment Resources Nexus, GreSLERN, from the OSC we hope to be able to provide a software that today will be launched in its beta version with regular updates over the upcoming year, that is open source, free of charge, to be provided to all our member states and their curriculum development centers to ensure that they are in a position to develop those digital and e-learning resources with a software that is as capable, if not more, than the proprietary software that we have known to this day. And of course, in doing this, we are also recognizing the importance of having tools that reflect our transformational approach to education systems. As you may all be aware, ladies and gentlemen, when the OSC speaks of education, it does not speak of any kind, but it speaks of balanced and inclusive education, a matter that will be elaborated upon by my Undersecretary General for SEED But in short, education systems that reflect who we are as peoples and individuals, as cultures, reflects our histories, our identities, and their interdependence with other cultures. Education systems that renew dialogue with the society in which they find themselves, preparing our students beyond merely employment, preparing them for the complexity of the world and equipping them to address the great questions of our time. Education systems that move from what we call the banking method of education, where the single and sole protagonist is the teacher, and students are nothing more than empty receptacles to be filled with facts and information, moving towards education systems where our students are the protagonists, the co-constructors of their own learning process, and the teacher, far from becoming obsolete, becomes all the more relevant as the conductor of an orchestra, a facilitator of an orchestra that is composed of student protagonists. And finally, education systems that are contextual, that respond to our national priorities, our local realities, and the individuality of students. Because an education system that is oblivious of national priorities, contemptuous of local realities, disregarding the individuality of students, is no longer education, but undeniable alienation. And in this regard, with this transformative vision for our education systems from the OSCE, we also know that you cannot build the new with the paradigms nor the tools of the old. And therefore, the Greater South Learning Enrichment Resource Nexus also serves as a tool fit for purpose, designed with balanced and inclusive education in mind, to enable our member states, our educators, not only to produce digital content, but also to collaborate and exchange on this platform, sharing content, building upon content developed by others, a genuine vector and catalyst for the transformation of our education systems. And of course, we consider this, ladies and gentlemen, to be a small step in the direction of that educational transformation to which we collectively aspire. But a small step that will require the proactive involvement of our member states, our teachers, our curriculum development centers, in order to continuously better this platform and ensure greater knowledge sharing and skills upscaling. And as we prepare to launch the Greater South Learning Resources, the Greater South Learning Enrichment Resources Nexus, GreSLERN, we do so with a determination of never being satisfied with the good enough. And as we launch today, we do so in its better version, or in the more technical terms, the minimally viable product upon which we must constantly build, review, add functionalities, determined to constantly strive for more, for our youth, our countries and the world deserves no less. And of course, later today as well, we will have the extraordinary pleasure and honor of signing as well a memorandum of understanding, setting out the framework of our cooperation with the Ministry of Innovation and Technology of Ethiopia, which will also enable greater collaboration on a variety of platforms such as GreSLERN that are open source, can be scaled, built upon, and integrated within our systems. And as I conclude, I would like to acknowledge in particular our departments of SEED, but most importantly, the Department of Technological Innovation and Digitalization Enhancement, the section of Software Research and Development, our lead developer for GreSLERN, because God knows that they have suffered at my hands, constantly telling them to add more functions, and clearly us having different definitions of what a minimally viable product is. But an acknowledgement to you, because you deserve it. And this. And of course, to thank all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and in particular, Your Excellency, the Minister, for accompanying us on this important milestone for the Organization of Southern Cooperation, our member states, our ministries of education, as we collectively take this forward. Start this journey. Start this journey because, as some of you may have heard over the past speeches I've done in the past 2 weeks, I have a new favorite poem. And that new favorite poem is from Antonio Machado, who says, "Caminante no hay camino. Caminante no hay camino, se hace camino al andar. Al andar se hace camino y al volver la vista atrás se ve la senda que nunca se ha de volver a pisar." Walker, wanderer, there is no road. The road is made by walking. By walking, the road is made, and looking back, you see the pathways that you will never set foot upon again. And of course, since there is no road, there is no pavement, and the road is made by walking, of course, there will be missteps along the way. But the most important is to start and get walking. And today, together, I believe we're starting and getting walking on a long journey towards a third way of development that finally gives long overdue birth, gives long overdue tangible response to humanity's eternal aspirations. With this, I thank you all very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, Secretary General of the Organization of Southern Cooperation, for those wonderful remarks. We are grateful. Next on the program, I am pleased to invite His Excellency Dr. Belete Mola Getahun, Minister of Innovation and Technology of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, to deliver his remarks. Please, let's put our hands together.
I should say thank you, Excellency, first of all, for this emotionally moving and intellectually enlightening speech that you have made. I was truly, yeah. Excellency, the Secretary General of Organization of Southern Cooperation, Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, dear Honorable Ambassadors, Honorable Guests, and Under Secretary Generals, all participants, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, a very warm morning to you all. I'm thankful and honored to make an opening speech on this special day of achievement, marking the second technology launching ceremony of OSC. It was just less than a week since another remarkable technological platform called GreSLERN has been launched. OSC has also unveiled an advanced training center for policymakers and senior experts of the member states and associate member states. I have to emphasize that it is absolutely remarkable the organization has been able to accomplish such astonishing achievements in less than a year time since it has been anchored here in Ethiopia. It is indeed remarkable, and I would like to kindly request you all in the audience, honorable ladies and gentlemen, to please join me in congratulating the purposeful leadership and all the members of the OSC for the success which they are already registering. And I say congratulations. Such flagship projects by OSC are key for balanced and inclusive education, transdisciplinary research and production, endogenous technology development, as well as for strategic economic transformation for the member states and associate member states. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the OSC Training Institute for Capacity Building, GreSLERN, as an open and accessible transdisciplinary knowledge platform, and GreSLERN as a learning option anytime and anywhere in the Greater South are quite pivotal. These actually prove the fact that we as a Greater South are solution makers ourselves. Excellency, I can never emphasize that my country, Ethiopia, devised a national homegrown economic reform agenda for inclusive digital economy to unlock significant growth and productivity gains. We can also witness similar initiatives from other African nations in different forms in particular, and the Greater South at large. Just as a showcase to tap into Africa's digital transformation potential to meet the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2063, it is crucial that the continent's youth, which is projected to account for nearly half the global youth population by 2030, are getting prepared for a digital future and the fourth industrial revolution, where, indeed, no case is different as such among OSC member states of the Greater South. Such digital educational technologies play decisive roles, for sure. Ethiopia is no doubt challenged by lack of quality education system, and such initiatives by OSCE will be instrumental in realizing the plans the country lays for education quality, equality, improvement, and inclusive education for all. I truly believe that GreSLERN will hence address so many accessibility challenges in the member states. It also seems to create opportunities for informal education and even andragogy, where citizens of the member states can learn wherever they are at any time of their convenience. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it is a fact that quite a large number of students, 1 out of 5 up to 4th grade students in Africa alone, can write and read. This signifies that such an offline technological interventions will help huge numbers of the needy fellows in the Greater South to get access to education. In that case, it helps us ensure inclusivity and that no one is left behind. Having such innovative technological interventions is therefore one to cherish and make use of them while contextually coupling them with national initiatives. As a passing remark and as a reminder, I should express my highest expectations from OSCE, as you already proved your tremendous potential and executive power, that a lot more is to follow in other sectors too, where member states and associate member states are challenged at. Finally, I once again congratulate the Secretary General, His Excellency Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, for the able leadership and the whole team of OSCE for the successful development and launching of the second key platform today. And I look forward to witnessing the OSCE making out more tech products and avail them to the needs of our people in the Greater South in the years to come. Thank you. You have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Dr. Belete Mola Getahun, Minister of Innovation and Technology of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, for those wonderful remarks. Once again, we are most grateful. Next on the program, I am pleased to invite Dr. Shubhangi Sharma, Under Secretary General for the Department of Systemic and Indigenous Educational Development of the Organization of Southern Cooperation, OSCE, to present a speech on BIE and its integration with the GreSLERN platform. Please, let's put our hands together as we invite her.
Good morning, everyone. Your Excellency Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, Secretary General of OSCE. Your Excellency Dr. Belete Mola Getahun, Minister of Innovation and Technology, Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Excellencies, our distinguished associate members, my fellow USGs and advisors to the Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Excellencies, it is once again my absolute honor and pleasure to stand before you and speak about GreSLERN, yet another initiative of OSCE to work with its member states across regions to transform educational systems to align them with balanced and inclusive educational approach, as it was said a few minutes ago by our Secretary General. It is in 1 month's time that we are gathered here in the premises of OSCE headquarters to celebrate the launch of GreSLERN, the Greater South Learning Enrichment Resource Center, this resource nexus, which aims to facilitate the production of digital, balanced, and inclusive learning resources that are interactive and contextualized. GreSLERN is an interactive and open source platform to foster equity, parity, and quality alongside contextuality in the learning content available for the learners of Global South. Ladies and gentlemen, in its design and execution, GreSLERN aspires to bridge the techno-digital divide that not only exists between the global south and the global north, but also between countries of the global south as well as within the countries of global south. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the need for the tool like GreSLERN, as our Secretary General also said once again, was felt as a result of lack of relevance and representation in the learning resources available in the existing platforms. With its launch today, amidst this August gathering, GreSLERN strives to address these concerns by ensuring that all learners can see themselves and their experiences reflected in the learning resources rather than constantly referring to learning resources which are overwhelmingly devoid of their context and their realities. The GreSLERN platform also comes at an opportune time when the challenge of limited accessibility of learning resources of learners for learners of all backgrounds, learning predisposition and needs was felt more than ever before to make sure that learning is not hampered by any kind of socio-economic, physical, or geographical disadvantage. By incorporating various formats such as audio, video, and interactive elements of learning, GreSLERN aims to make learning accessible and possible for all students with different learning styles and preferences. By contextualizing learning materials, GreSLERN aspires to bridge the gap between theoretic knowledge and practical application, making the learning experience more meaningful and engaging as it interacts with the varied contexts of the learners. By addressing all three concerns, GreSLERN is designed to level the playing field for learners of all ages and backgrounds who have limited access to quality educational resources as a consequence of their background and their circumstances. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, another unique feature of GreSLERN is its ability to facilitate collaboration and knowledge sharing amongst educators, endogenous knowledge stakeholders, content creators, and curriculum developers, as well as institutions from different parts of the world in creating content together, which is global yet local, as it provides for the space to bring in experiences from all contexts to be built in the learning material. It also encourages collaboration among students, allowing them to work together on projects and share ideas, fostering a sense of belonging and inclusion, thereby enhancing quality of education. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, uniqueness of the GreSLERN platform lies in the fact that it is increasingly meant to facilitate the production of learning resources that comply with the balanced and inclusive educational standards. By combining BIE resources and digital approaches, educators will be more equipped to create engaging and reflective learning experiences for needs of diverse groups of learners in today's increasingly digital world. As it is an open source software, it allows member states to customize the platform according to their specific needs by integrating the free training option to equip member states with the basic knowledge on the BIE pillars and problem-posing pedagogy. When my fellow USG Dr. Shumate Gizan presents, you will get to understand that the tool has been built in a manner in which it will also be possible for the learners to get a training program around balanced and inclusive education approach and its 4 pillars. This ensures that growingly educators and curriculum developers from all levels of education are well prepared to create and collaborate around designing balanced and inclusive learning resources. As I conclude, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to draw your attention and remind all of us that OSC Institute, GreSys, and now GreSLearn, all three are connected and placed to ensure that education is more and more meaningful, contextual, and responsive to the world we are living in and the world we wish to create for ourselves and for our future generations. With these words, I will take my seat. Many thanks for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shubhangi Sharma, Under-Secretary General for Systemic and Indigenous Educational Development, for the speech on BIE and GreSLERN. We're moving on now. Next on the program, I am pleased and it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Shumete Gizal, Under-Secretary General for the Department of Technological Innovation and Digitalization Enhancement, TIDE, of the Organization of Southern Cooperation, OSC, to present the technological development process of GreSLERN. Please, let's put our hands together as we welcome Dr. Shumete.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, Secretary General of Organization of Southern Cooperation, Your Excellency Dr. Bellet Amullah, Minister for the Ministry of Innovation and Technology of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, senior government officials, ambassadors, Education Bureau heads, invited guests, our associate members attending this launching ceremony, offline and online. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, I am here today, again, a week later, to tell you more about GreSLERN. My apologies if I sometimes confuse GreSys and GreSLERN because we are launching GreSLERN just a week after we launched GreSys. So I'm here just to tell you a bit about GreSLERN, where education is at the center. As we always say, education is at the core. If you look at, for example, the first number one mandates of the Organization of Southern Cooperation is transforming our education system and education sector, and by applying and promoting balanced and inclusive education and its principles. So, I will take you to some points of GreSLERN, some points about what it is and why it's important, and the key objectives, the main features, and finally the capabilities of GreSLERN. And then, what is really GreSLERN, what is its purpose, and who is GreSLERN for? Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as already said by previous speakers, including our Secretary General, guest of honor, and my fellow USCG of SEED, GreSLERN is a digital tool for the creation, production, reproduction of balanced and inclusive learning resources. It is not what important the availability of learning resources, but balanced and inclusive, quality, digital, accessible and available learning resources are very important when we aspire to apply the principles of balanced and inclusive education. As already said, it is open. It's open, free of charge, customizable to the contexts of the learners, the communities, and the countries. is not only free and free of charge. It is developed from open sources and open technology by the Organization of Southern Cooperation to cater the needs of institutions, educational institutions, and organizations in all the education actors in our member states and associate members. It's designed to facilitate the production of interactive, engaging, and contextualized learning resources. Here, in the OSC, and also as per the principles of balanced and inclusive education, one size fits all and one model works for all principle cannot work. We believe in the contextualization of education, localization, customization of the education, not only the contents, but also the systems itself. And then, what is the purpose of GreSLERN? The very purpose of GreSLERN is bridging the techno-digital gap that is already perpetuating in the existing world. The divide between North and South. The gap between continents and countries in continents. Even the gap between us already explained, the rural spaces and the urban spaces, male and female, gender, whatever. So it is about catering access of resources, digital resources, to all the actors in the education sector and the teaching learning process of our member states. And so its very purpose is bridging the techno-digital scientific divide that we are challenged with today. It is a problem-solving tool. GreSLERN, this beta version, is able to solve problems of lack of representation in educational content. One of the greatest problems and one of the main reasons for the crisis of education in our global south is because of lack of representation in the educational content. Again, it solves the problems of limited accessibility for those with disabilities. It solves the problem of lack of relevance of educational content. It's not representation, but of that relevance is also very important. Solves again the problems of unequal learning opportunities. So GreSLERN as a digital learning platform gives and provides equal opportunities for all learners in all educational ladders, starting from the top at higher level institutions down to the primary and secondary levels of education. As I said, who GreSLERN is for? Higher education learners, education content creators, instructional designers, educational institutions and curriculum developers, subject matter experts and e-learning professionals, and again, community and even non-academic knowledge stakeholders, knowledge owners and producers are the very beneficiaries of GreSLERN. So accordingly, what are the key objectives of GreSLERN? It's widening access to quality resources. As I said, it's one thing to have resources, but it's another thing to have quality resources, catering the needs and the necessities of individual learners and communities in our countries of the global south. Customization and localization to cater the unique educational requirements cultural context, and language preferences of each countries in our global south. And scalability and flexibility. Whenever need arises, GreSLERN is designed and developed to accommodate any kinds of updates that are coming through time. Collaboration and acknowledge and knowledge sharing. GreSLERN is not only a content creation, content production digital tool, but it also promotes and facilitates collaboration and resource sharing, knowledge sharing among educators, content creators, institutions from different parts of the world. So it serves as a connecting tool for the small step towards the integration of the global south. So, what are the main features in GreSLERN? Institutional access. So once institutions are given access, for example, in our member states, certain institution can have an access, not only an access to GreSLERN, but an admin access, a privilege to add more users, other individuals, learners, and institutions in their respective education sector. The resource creation is another major feature in GreSLERN. User authentication and authorization, personal dashboard. So we have the personal, private, and public dashboard in GreSLERN, and so that certain teacher and educator or content creator can create his own resources, can update, can edit, and can share privately or can share in public as he or she wants. And resource management. So it enables user to manage, edit, delete, share whatever the resources, as well as view contents that are shared with them for him or for her. Another features, resource sharing. Already said that interaction with the resources. You are not only interacting with your students, with your teachers, but also you have the capacity or the permission to interact with the available resources in GreSLERN, to like, to tag, to comment, and to bookmark, and to bookmark content when signed in. Assessment of the BIE compliance. Earlier said that we are focusing on the balanced and inclusive education principles. Thus, transdisciplinarity, inclusivity, dialecticism must be alive in GreSLERN. And then accessibility in 6 languages for the time being. It's only for the login. When you go to the landing page and the user interface page, you can find 6 languages. But after you log in, you can use any language that you need to transfer your content, your knowledge to your learners and other people. So it's only for the logging. For the time you have 6 languages, but after logging, sky is the limit. Export and integration. And then different kinds and types of resources available in GreSLERN can be exported and can be integrated. What are the GreS's capabilities? My last slide. It has a comprehensive guideline to help you develop the BIE compliant learning digital resources. It has a range of page templates. It helps you to reach more and more, as much as you can. So increasing the reach, an ability to import, ability to preview, an ability to select. You can be selective. You can share in any ways that you need for any party that you need to share. So in general, the very purpose of GreSLERN, one of the very purpose that GreSLERN is designed for is building the e-learning environment by taking into consideration the learner characteristics, the content, skills, learner support, resources, assessments, and more. It's about building an environment, building an ecosystem, and the teaching learning process. It's about building culture and new ways of approaching the teaching learning process that is already in crisis. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, GreSLERN is a very small step towards building the education we need and shaping the future we want. If you, in any case, any times, if you have any questions, remarks, comments, and suggestions, please don't hesitate to browse and check our GreSLERN website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Shumite Gizau, Under Secretary General for Technological Innovation and Digitalization Enhancement, for the presentation on technological development process of GreSLERN. Now is the time to showcase. Next on the program, it is my pleasure once again to invite the GreSLERN lead developer, Mrs. Sewasio Hailu, to showcase and present the GreSLERN platform. Please, let's put our hands together for her.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here for the launch of GreSLERN. As the lead developer of this incredible platform, it is both an honor and privilege to guide you through the key functionalities of the platform. Before diving into the demonstration, I must express my sincere appreciation to our dedicated developers, whose tireless efforts have played a pivotal role in ensuring the timely launch of GreSLERN. Now, to the demonstration. All right. GreSLERN is accessible through greslern.osc.int. As you can see, the user interface of GreSLERN is designed to make navigation easy and enjoyable. You can go through the landing page as I did here. All right. GreSLERN is also accessible in 6 languages. You can choose your preferred language from the drop-down there. The UI of the GreSLERN can be accessed through 6 languages. Now, let's proceed to the login page of the GreSLERN. Yeah. You can have your credentials once you go through the onboarding process of the institutional onboarding process. After you log into the system, you will be presented with various shortcuts to access GreSLERN. Let's proceed to the dashboard of GreSLERN. Now, here we also have a quick guideline to the GreSLERN to the users. Here is the BIE GreSLERN Standards and User Guide on how to apply the BIE approach through the GreSLERN platform. Of course, we have also a BIE compliant demos for the users to walk you through or to learn from. Let's proceed to creating a learning resources. Creating a learning resource using GreSLERN is pretty straightforward. We also have the 4 pillars of balanced and inclusive education and how you can achieve them in your learning materials. You can read through the guideline or you can also skip. Here, as you can see, we have more than 15 content types to choose from. So whether you want to create a presentation or an interactive ebooks or a video, we have all the content types here. Let's go ahead and create a simple course presentation for the demonstration purpose. So here I am creating a presentation. I can start from a simple template that we have prepared, or we can create a learning resource from scratch like I'm doing here. We have variety of options to choose from. We have open-ended questions, texts, we can add videos, audios, etc. You can type in whatever language you want. You can type in English, like I'm doing here, or you can type in Arabic or Amharic if you want, or in any language. GreSLERN will support that, so that you can localize, contextualize your learning resources according to your need. So once you have done with your resources, you will name it or give it a title and proceed to save your resources. After saving your resource, you have multiple options to go through. You can edit your resources. If you want, you can delete it, download it to offline use, or you can share it to a specific user that you want, for your colleagues or for your students as well. Or simply, you can make it available for the whole GreSLERN users. When you are making a resource public for the whole user, you have the option to give it a score according to the balanced and inclusive education pillars. Or you can go ahead and just skip through it. Once you have done with that, you can save or manage your resources in a folder for easy management and easy accessibility. And you can browse your resources in any folder you want. You can also preview your resources once you have done with it. You can read it, go through it, interact with it in the platform. Now, let's proceed to the other way, how you can create a learning resource. If you have an already made resource, you can upload it to GreSLERN and customize it to your specific need. And you can save as you did before, and you can go through it as you did before. If somebody shared some resources with you, you can see it here. All the public resources that are made available by the GreSLERN users will be displayed here. You can download the publicly available resources for an offline use or as H5P to use it in any learning management systems for online use. You can also preview any public resources that is available on the learning resources. This is just a simple example of learning resources that is made public for the GreSLERN user. As you can see, it have a variety of options. You can have a resources that is presented in a video, in a PowerPoint, or you can interact with it as well. So here is a demo, like it is an open-ended question for the learners to interact with the learning management, the learning resources. You also, if you like the learning resource that you see, you can show your appreciation by giving it a like. You can bookmark it or save it for later to see. You also can give your feedback or suggestion on that specific learning resource. You can also review the learning resources according to the 4 pillars of balanced and inclusive education. So it is like a peer review techniques. We have the scoring here, and you can go through them and give your scores to the learning resources. Once you have done with that, you can see the bookmark the resources here. You can manage your folders. You can see which resource is in which folder. You can also read through all your feedbacks in one places. You can read them, you can download it and read them offline as well. Here is the analytics, how many resources you have prepared so far, how many comments you get so far. When somebody likes or gives you a feedback on your resources, you will get your notifications here. Of course, we have the profile sections of GreSLERN. You can update or change your profiles here, go through your activities down there. Every activities will be Here you can update your profiles here. You can choose your profile picture if you want. It's creating the community of learners, educators. You can also change your passwords according to your need. Lastly, since GreSLERN is in beta, we would like to hear from you. You can contact us using our GreSLERN email, or you can use the contact us form here. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, GreSLERN lead developer, Mrs. Sawasiu Hailu, for showcasing the GreSLERN platform. We are now at a very important stage of this program as we edge close to the end of the program. Next on the program, it is my pleasure once again to invite His Excellency Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, Secretary General of the Organization of Saudi Cooperation, OSC, to officially launch and unveil GreSLERN and offer a brief final remark for this particular program. Please, let's put our hands together once again to invite His Excellency, the Secretary General.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, very, very brief remarks to acknowledge once more our software research and development team and our lead developer for GreSLERN for the extraordinary work that has been undertaken over the past few months, really. It has been less than a year of work, of intense work. And as, of course, you will have seen, even though I acknowledge we could have done a bit more effort in terms of the presentation, nevertheless, GreSLERN is in its better form. And over the next few weeks and months, as feedback comes from the Ministries of Education, the curriculum development centers, you will see updated versions of GreSLERN going live. Our objective is a new version of GreSLERN every 3 to 4 months at most. And as we have seen, nevertheless, this still constitutes a very important step in the right direction for our education systems, for our educators, in terms of producing digital content, in terms of sharing their knowledge and expertise. And therefore, without further ado, with my reiterated gratitude to all of you for your presence and your continued engagement, I think it is time to consider GreSLERN to be officially launched.
Thank you, Your Excellency Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, Secretary General of the Organization of Southern Cooperation, OIC, for the official launch and unveiling of GreSLERN. Once again, we are most grateful. Please, we will now close the program by thanking Your Excellency once again, Sheikh Mansour bin Musallam, Secretary General of the Organization of Southern Cooperation, Your Excellency Dr. Belete Mola Getaun, Minister of Innovation and Technology of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors, distinguished associate members joining us in person and online, distinguished invited guests, distinguished Under-Secretary Generals of the Organization of Southern Cooperation, OIC staff members, ladies and gentlemen, for honoring this important invitation. We are most grateful once again. We will now proceed to take group photos and press engagement commencing with His Excellency and distinguished guests. After the photos, we will proceed to the OIC compound for refreshments, networking and interactive demos of the GreSLERN platform. Thank you all once again for your time. We wish you safe journeys back to your destinations and have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you. We now close the program.